All right, first, let's start with the IRS hearings on Capitol Hill today. Democrats are saying this is incompetence, unfortunate, wrong, but it's not an administration-wide conspiracy. Nothing illegal to see here. Congressman Jim McDermott, a Democrat from Washington State, highlighted the fact that IRS official Doug Shulman was a Bush appointee. He also blamed Republicans for targeting liberal groups under the last administration. This seems like it's devolving into another bitterly divided partisan issue. How can we turn down all this partisan bickering and get to the real issues and the answers that the American people need to hear?
Well, first, I think if Democrats have made the decision that they want to be the defenders of the IRS, they certainly have a right to do that, but I think that's a big mistake. The IRS here and then this investigation, all it's uncovered is just a culture of crazy inside the IRS. I mean, you look at some of these expenditures they had on videos, Star Trek spoofs and Gilligan Island spoofs and, line dancing, and then these conferences they held with, they hired a painter to come in and do paintings for the group. I mean, it's just outrageous what they've done with taxpayer dollars. This is one of the most important agencies in the American government, which is required to apply our tax code and is now going to be on the front lines of applying Obamacare. So if the Democrats want to be the defenders of that agency, they have a right to do that, but I think they'll have to answer to the American people. I think what we need here is full disclosure, an open, transparent investigation like the type the House is doing, potentially an independent counsel, to look at exactly what happened here and learn once and for all what happened here. Maybe it was incompetence, and if it was, some people should be fired. But maybe it was more than that. We just need to find out. And I hope the White House, instead of stonewalling on this, will be cooperative and be open on it.
And what's worse to you, if this was just incompetence, and you talked about this is the IRS, one of the most important agencies because they get Americans' paychecks really before they get their paychecks, or if people knew about this and try to cover up at the highest levels, which of those do you think is worse?
Well, I think the cover-up is worse. Certainly incompetence is really bad, especially from an agency as important as the Internal Revenue Service. But if there was, in fact, a cover-up, and I'm not alleging that I have evidence that there is, but if in fact there was, that's criminal. So I think that's clearly worse, and not to mention really scary. So let me just say, I think it's in the best interest of everyone to have an open, full disclosure process, a full investigation, oversight hearings by the House and Senate, let the White House be transparent about these fake these secret email accounts and all these other things. Let's just put all this out there. Let's get it out there once and for all. Let's deal with it. Let's get to the bottom so we can move on to the other issues that our country's confronting.
A lot of issues, those emails you talked about, some Obama administration officials using private emails that can't be viewed by the public. Also, Kathleen Sebelius accused of illegally soliciting funds to implement Obamacare. A lot to get to there. But there are some Republicans out there saying there might be a silver lining to all this, at least in terms of the IRS here. And that is real comprehensive tax reform. To what extent can the IRS scandal help Republicans make their case for a simpler, flatter tax code?
Well, I think it reminds people that the reason why you have such a big agency is because the tax code is so complicated. The more complicated the tax code is, the bigger the tax code is, the more loopholes and twists and turns and regulations that it has, the more people you need to enforce it and apply it. And that's why the IRS is so big. It's because the tax code is so complicated. So I think that's one of the arguments in favor of, if you want to simplify the tax code, is in order to just downsize this agency. But a bigger and more important reason why we should simplify the tax code is to get our economy growing again. The cost of complying with taxes is a real cost on businesses. It's every penny that has to go to complying with these taxes is a penny that's not going to growing a business or expanding an existing business or opening up a new business. So I think that the complexity of our tax code is hurting economic growth and job creation in America. And so I think that's the number one reason why we should do tax reform.